So in the never-changing effort to find a tactical flashlight that doesn't break the bank, I got this, the Sofirn 35T. It's about 45 bucks right now. I have no idea how it's going to perform. I know there's a lot of people out there who love Surefire, Modlight, Cloud, all those high-end brands. And that's cool, guys. Like, if that's your jam, I'm not hating. But a lot of my students don't have a lot of cash, so they need to get something that will perform and not crush them when it comes to costs. You're talking like single income families where they're just starting out in their new career, so the money's tight. I'm gonna test this thing out, see if it stacks up. Stay tuned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Sofirn SP35T. I've never even taken it out of the box, but let's see what we get. This claims 3,800 lumens, and that seems incredible to me. But even if it doesn't quite meet up to the claims, I'm just curious to see how it behaves. Guys, a $45 flashlight. Packaging is unremarkable, nothing crazy. And we obviously have the insulator that we're gonna have to take off before we either charge it or use it. It comes with charging cable, dual position pocket clip, which is not bad. And I'm assuming just a lanyard and a couple of spare O-rings in case any of the O-rings go south. I have yet to see any O-rings go south on any flashlight that I have used, even ones I've had for a couple of years. But if you're reassembling and disassembling them a lot, I think that's probably important, and it doesn't hurt to have. And, you know, I don't really care. I've got enough USB-C charging cables to last me probably into the next lifetime or the next standard. Pocket clip, I think if you want to use this, a zip tie mod would be appropriate. I'll probably make a retention ring to go on it. So there's the insulator. So I'll leave that in the packaging. Nice, good size, 5,000 milliamp battery. I like that the threads are anodized. On the through nights, they're not. It's a little bit cheaper in construction, but this is about another 5 to 10 bucks over the through night. So we will see what we get with this. Like I said, I'm going to charge this up and then I'm going to do the output. I'm very, very curious about the output. Weight, no, let's see. .5 ounces, not bad, not bad. It's about the same as most of the ones in the same class. Yeah, like I said, we'll charge it up. Got an external charging port, which I do like. I couldn't comment on how well that charging port, but it swivels out of the way, how well that stays in place when it rides around in your pocket. I don't know anything about lockout modes or anything. Like I said, just an initial look. That's the unbox. Very simple stuff. I'm going to charge it. We'll start testing it. We'll see what we get. So I'm assuming red means charging, and it'll change colors once it decides it is ready to be charged. We'll come back, do some lumen tests, some beam shots, maybe some outdoor stuff, see what that looks like. We'll get back to it soon. All right, pardon the darkness. I'm getting ready to test the lumen output. It took way more than 3 hours to charge this thing. It may have been the fault of the charger, I don't know, but either way, way more than 3 hours. In terms of modes, right now I have it on the tactical mode, which you really get like 2 modes. You have medium and you have super high. But on the tactical mode, if you hold this down for 3 seconds, it'll switch to the non-tactical mode. And then we can actually test all of the settings, I think. So here's the lumen cooler. And if you look, it's pretty dark. Hopefully you can still see. It's actually reading 0 right now. I'm going to put this on Eco, which is supposed to be 5 lumens. And if we do the math, 1, and pardon me, my correction factor is 2.77. So this is pretty low, and it may not be exact, but on the Eco, 1 times 2.77 is 2.77. It's supposed to be 5. It's probably close. Anyway, if I go up 1, this is low and 24. So low's supposed to be 100, but it's giving me like 66.48. And then if I go up to the next one, medium's supposed to be 500, but I'm seeing 105. More like 300, guys. And then high is supposed to be 1500. And what do we got? 354. So high is supposed to be 1500, 980, really kind of close to 1000. Then I can't get to turbo in the standard set of modes. So to change modes, let me pull the cooler out of the way. With the light on, if you hold down the mode or the side switch for 3 seconds, it gives you a couple of flashes and then it goes to the next mode. So in the tactical mode, you only get medium and you get turbo, and it defaults to turbo. Now turbo is supposed to be 3800 lumens, guys. Color me skeptical, but for this size battery, I don't know if that's going to happen. So here we go. Here's turbo. What, 978 right off the jump. So guys, for 3800 lumens, I'm really kind of seeing 2700. And obviously it's going to step down from here. It is not going to stay at 3800 lumens. I mean, we're already looking at, what, 940. So we're down to 2600. What do we see? 976 if I move it around some. Yeah, pretty consistently 2700, 2800. Man, that 3800, it sounds really good, doesn't it? I think that they just added an extra 1,000 is kind of what they did. Now, it's holding 2700 for a while, but you'll notice once it starts to get hot, it's going to come down. 968, it's hanging on to it pretty good. Yeah, 2681. So pretty good for a while, right? We've got 2700 for probably darn close to 30, 40 seconds, but now you see it stepping down because it's getting warm, guys, and it's got a temperature regulate. It has got to down regulate or it is going to burn out that LED and it's going to fry the battery. So look, you know, this is intelligent protection. I get it, but let's see where it stabilizes. All right, so 158, I think, is really where it's going to stick. 437, 159. Yeah, like 440 lumens, which, look, for an hour plus runtime, if it just stays here, that is really not bad. And it's a lot of usable light, but it ain't staying at I mean, 3800 is not happening, period. That's just not happening. 2700 for darn close to 30, 40, 50 seconds is actually really good compared to a lot of lights. You know, just understand what you're getting. Be realistic about it. Even if we go to this 160, you're really talking about 443 lumens. Good to go. So not bad. Not bad. You know, at the end of the day, guys, what I got here is a very usable light. I'm going to do some beam shots in a little bit, but man, it's warm. I mean, I can hold it in my hand after that, but I feel it, like there is temperature there. And you know, you've got two usable light modes. We've got tactical, which what it's in now, but if I hold the side switch down, now I'm down to, I think I'm down to just the regular, normal, not tactical mode. And that's moonlight. It's very nice, like 5 lumens. Go up 1, we've got low, medium, high, and then back to eco or low. And then if I want to put it on the tactical mode, if I just hold the side switch down for another 3 seconds, yeah. And then we got tactical. Look, I'm not disappointed with the 2700 versus 3800. You know, if you look at the current LED technology and the amount of battery here, 3800 was wishful thinking. The night core hits like $3 grand and it only hits it for just a little teeny bit. And that's a $100 light. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a $40 light. So still not disappointed in it. Beam shots to follow though. I think beam shots is going to be our real test. All right, so before I get to the beam shot testing, a real quick segue into the mods that I do to any of my flashlights. One, I'm going to put a little grip ring that's going to give me the ability to hold this separate with my finger. You'll see in just a second. I'm going to fast forward through this, guys, so you don't have to worry about all the martial arts and crafts, but uses that, some microcord, some shrink tubing, and I'm going to do a zip tie mod around this clip. Anytime I have a clip on my flashlights, I always slap a zip tie around it so that, like, if whatever force gets subjected to this, it doesn't just pop right off. It'll hang on to it. Now, obviously it could cause it to bend, but at the end of the day, I'd rather have this clip stay on. That's kind of my decision. You can always get another clip from these guys. I'm sure they're pretty cheap. So that's the general. But first, the grip ring itself. All right, so one custom ring. And now, like I said, I've really got to make sure that the clip doesn't go anywhere. That little additional piece right there, I'll usually take a pocket knife and just slice it right off. I might just take the old Milwaukee here. Good for what ails you. It's not high-end, not Gucci, but for my purposes in the shop, man, it works really nicely. There. And that's everything that I need to make my light in terms of work. So this is perfect. Gives me the ability to have one finger through, like lose the light, bring it back, do what I got to do, and it folds neatly against the light so it doesn't really get in the way of my pocket. Anyway, so on to testing, guys. All right, so basement beam shot time. This is the Sofirn in my, it's like 7 or 8 yards basement, and this is on max. And that is a lot of light, guys. Now, it's not 3800 lumens, but it is bright and it is broad. And I'm going to compare it to the ThruNite TN12 Pro. So once again, this is the Sofirn. Here's the ThruNite. So the ThruNite gives me more of a hot spot, but less overall light. I'm going to compare them outdoors again, but once again, there's the ThruNite, there's the Sofirn, there's the ThruNite off. So the Sofirn, and I think it's already stepped down slightly, but a ton of light for 40 bucks. And I don't know that I can say without a doubt that it is better than the ThruNite, but for area search, I think I like the Sofirn better. There's the ThruNite, Sofirn, well, there, sorry, didn't mean to strobe you. We'll go outdoors and do some distance stuff here in a second, but that's your indoor beam shot in my basement laboratory. Stand by for the outdoors. So this is the front of the house. To the wood line is about 20 yards. First, just to give you an idea, like that's the ThruNite. Good beam, that's 20 yards to the tree line. If I switch, that's the Sofirn. Once again, 20 yards to the tree line. Broader, less hot spot, but man, it's pretty darn bright. Now we're gonna go to the stop sign and we're gonna see that's about 200 yards from my front walk to the stop sign itself. All right, off in the distance, there is a car, a tree, a street light, and like I said, that's about 200 yards. This is the through night. If you can see any of that through the trees, because the tree cover is pretty hard, and there's a car off in the distance as well. That car is about 220 yards. And then here's the Sofirn. So in my opinion, in terms of total output, the Sofirn is greater, but the distance, the punch of the through night, which this is the through night again, seems slightly greater. So the through night, the Sofirn, through night, Sofirn. So that gives you some idea of those two flashlights and their capabilities. Okay, so I know this video's gone on long enough, but I did want to make a conclusion about this flashlight, the Sofirn SP35T, kind of a mouthful. I actually made some notes because there's really a lot going on here. And for the money, it's a pretty darn good flashlight. It is durable. I did bang it around quite a bit. In fact, I've carried this thing now for almost a month, including overseas. I took a trip to Italy, and this was with me pretty much the entire time. Made it through TSA, German security, Italian security, nobody cared. And so that's pretty cool all by itself. You know, it's just a flashlight. The charging port cover on this thing, it stays in place really well, and it swivels out of the way easily so that when it's time to charge it, it's pretty easy to charge. And then when you shove that cover back into place, once again, it stays. This cover never came loose when it was riding around in my pocket. And I've had other flashlights, notably the ThruNite TN12 Pro, that charging port cover tends to come loose pretty easily. I'm thinking that with this flashlight, the water resistance is probably a little better with that charging port, owing to that fact alone. It is very bright. It is floody, right? It floods an area quite nicely. If you looked at the beam shots, man, it's hard to argue that. I like the amount of output this thing has. The guard around the tail switch has kept me from having any accidental discharges in my pocket. So no weenie roasts as I've been walking around. Those are always unfortunate. I try and avoid those when I can. So that's pretty cool. The side switch does nothing until the main light is activated. So you don't have to worry about that getting pressed accidentally and doing weird stuff. It is very easy to switch from regular mode to tactical mode and vice versa. I don't have to go read the manual like over and over again. Like if it's on and I hold the side switch down for 3 seconds, boom, now I'm in the other mode. And same thing now, I'm in the regular mode. If I hold the side switch down again for 3 seconds, boom, now I'm in the tactical mode. Easy to swap back and forth. And so I really appreciate that. But it is hard to accidentally swap in between those two modes, which is something I also appreciate. It makes a big difference because I don't want to pull this light out and have it do something I wasn't expecting it to do. I don't care what price point the flashlight is at, whether it's a $40 flashlight or a $100 flashlight or a $300 flashlight. If it's doing things that I didn't want it to do, then it's kind of out of my consideration for any light that I'd use for any purpose, much less a tactical purpose. Tactical mode defaults to the brightest output, aka the turbo mode, which is what a tactical flashlight should do. So they did that correctly. That is awesome. Lastly, the battery level indicator, which is a little indicator in the middle of the button there. When you turn this on, if it's green, it's above 50%. It starts to go into red when it's really probably time to charge it. So it's really easy to tell, like, should I charge this or let it go for a while? In general, if it's in green, I'm gonna leave it alone. Now, this isn't to say that this light didn't have a few negatives, so I don't wanna like sell you the dream and not give you the full information. The output claims for this light, they are optimistic. There's no way, no how this light puts out 3,800 lumens. It's no way, not with the emitter, not with the battery size. It's just not gonna do it. Understand that my lumen cooler is a $40 testing apparatus. It is not a $1,000 ANSI setup apparatus, but 2 other flashlights that I tested in that lumen cooler gave me almost exactly claimed outputs. Now, admittedly, both of those were $100 plus flashlights. So I'm assuming that that's probably a reasonably calibrated number for my lumen cooler. So when this says 3,800 and only kicks out 2,700, I'm inclined to believe the 2,700 over the 3,800. I just am. But even despite the inflated output claims, it's still quite bright, especially for its size and especially for its price. So I don't hold that against it. It does not have quite as much punch as, say, the ThruNite does. And the reason why I keep comparing it to the ThruNite is they're both $40 flashlights, or, you know, between 38 and 45, depending on where you get them, if there's any sales or anything like that. But that's the flashlight you're looking at for that amount of money. And like I said in the beginning, like, some of my students don't have the ability to go out and buy a $100+ flashlight. They just don't, like, owing to their budget, where they're at in life. But if I say, hey, if you can't buy a $40 flashlight, you gotta skip a meal or do something because you need a flashlight in this job, I think this will probably be okay for them. I don't know that I could tell them to pick the ThruNite over this one or this one over the ThruNite. It really kind of depends on their needs and wants. The ThruNite is slightly lighter. The ThruNite has more punch or candela or distance, but the Sofirn gets pretty decent distance. It's just not quite as punchy, I guess, as the ThruNite. They're both in the same price range. Overall, guys, I like this light a lot. I will say this also. I bought mine off Amazon. I think it was like 42 bucks. If you buy it direct from the manufacturer, like China direct from Sofirn, it's $38 on their website. I'll put links to both in the description. I have no idea about shipping when you buy it directly from Sofirn. Like, you could get it in a week or maybe longer. I have no experience with that. I did not order direct from Sofirn. I ordered it from Amazon, and, you know, with Amazon, you get Amazon shipping, you know when you're getting it. So something to consider if you're trying to go as bargain basement as possible and you want a $38 flashlight that is going to be reasonable in a tactical or a more serious setup. Good pocket clip with dual clips, so you can put it on your hat if you want. Shirt pocket, put it in your pocket, doesn't matter. And like I said, it seems to not cause any issues with airport security. Like, I believe this could go anywhere. I think I even carried it into a concert as well. Like, nobody cares. It's just a flashlight. But it's got a lot of capability for what it is. And I like it. I like it. You know, am I gonna say it's a 10 out of 10? No, you know, it's not a $300 flashlight, but for a $40 flashlight, is it, you know, top two choices in that price range? Hell yes, it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this here. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that something in this video was useful to you. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know in the comments. If you think that this video was awful and I'm an idiot, let me know. That's okay too. And if you hated this video and you're still watching, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you. Also, if you're looking for more content like this, knives, flashlights, guns, occasionally some booze and some EDC stuff, that's my jam. Please subscribe. I'd love to have you along. Ladies and gentlemen, take care. Stay safe. I'll talk to you soon.
Get 'em, Jay.